everybody, it is Calxiyn here, and thank you for attending Calxyn's Royal Court today, where we have gathered to discuss Beastars Season 2, Episode 11. I'm super excited today just because, like, we are basically, like, snowballing down the hill. You know what I mean? Like, have the mental image of, I guess, a hill, like a snowy hill, okay? And you have, like, the snowball, okay? And then it just keeps going and going and going. Like, that's how I feel like these last two episodes are gonna be, like, for sure. Like, we are snowballing towards New Year's, and we have no idea what's gonna happen. So I'm super, super excited. Remember that if you guys want to see my full-length watch-along reaction that you press play when I press play, my full camera footage of the entire reaction, that is up on Patreon. But this is just going to be my reaction highlights and then my review where we will discuss, analyze, and theorize. Theorize for, like, one final time, but, like, not really, because we can still theorize at the end of the 12th episode for Season 3. Hopefully Season 3 will be confirmed by the time you guys are watching this up on YouTube. Without further ado, let's get into my reaction highlights, and then we will do my discussion. Legoshi, what are you doing, though, buddy? Okay. Oh my god, are we actually going to eat the bugs? I've been waiting, you know what I mean? I've been waiting for this forever. I've been saying the past couple episodes, why doesn't he just eat the bugs, bro, you know? Really? Is that necessary? You can just, can't you cook them? Well, like she's kind of learning a lesson, you know? Damn! Damn! Like, now the bugs are a problem? Oh, damn. Well, that's good, I guess. Yeah, okay. But you didn't need to eat him alive, sis. I think that's good for Legoshi, though, because it's kind of like, you know... Exactly. Like, I felt like that was the whole thing. He hasn't even eaten it yet. I feel like that was the whole thing to start with, you know? That he had to, what the fuck is happening? Oh my god, okay. Like, kind of a comparison to Riz, you know? I don't like that. Okay, I guess, okay, well, that's fine. Oh god. Oh my god. He's hallucinating? Exactly, so you have to eat him. I don't think the moth is mad about that. It's that you were going to, their life would be in vain, you know? Right. Right, okay. See, that's what I was saying, bro. It's like the circle of life, you know? The bugs will be a part of him, you know? Oh, it was a dream. Oh, he's back to normal already? His hair just sprouted? Like, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, okay. But can he not taste anything still? Oh, okay. They're like gossiping. Oh, damn. Oh, shit. Oh, see, so he's not taking his medicine to prepare for the fight. Oh, dear. Well, that's not good. Oh, speaking of oh, dear. Anyway. Oh, boy. A logo? Branding? Like, what is this? Oh, damn. Jesus Christ. Okay, Ibuki, you gotta relax. Oh, look at this little owl guy. He's so cute. Oh, but is that good, Ibuki? Because, like, what if you eat him? You know? Oh, hello. Who's this? Is that Legoshi? Really? What the heck? Damn! Oh. This episode's great! Oh my god! Damn! Oh my god, the duel! Damn, I love you, Rui! Oh man, Rui's gonna be his second, you know, his second in the duel. If anybody's ever seen Hamilton, okay? Your lieutenant when there's reckoning to be reckoned. Damn! This serious conversation with Legoshi, I love this. Oh. How can you take this seriously? Oh man, yeah, see, Rui's like, I can't look at you with that face. Damn. I love this scene. This scene was everything. Damn. Oh, damn. Oh, damn, he's just like saying goodbye. He's filming? Oh, damn. Oh. Damn, Pina. I don't think he did. I don't think he did. Wait, but what if that camera's just a decoy? You know what I mean? Like, what if that camera's just, like a fake camera and there's another camera? Gohan, can't you go help him? Can't you just shoot Riz with a dart and then, you know, rehabilitate him? You know what I mean? Okay. Well, that's nice. You know, that's nice. Very nice. But yeah, can't Gohan go with him to sleeping potion Riz so he can be rehabilitated? Like, why do we gotta do things this way? You know what I mean? Like, why do things gotta be like this? Like, this is dangerous, bro. You know? Oh. Okay, well, I guess she's not dying. We still have season 3, okay? We all know that. He's not gonna die. Right? Oh. What if Legoshi doesn't even get to fight him because Riz tries to eat Pina and gets arrested? You know, all of this for nothing. Oh, so that's why you gotta live. Oh, that's nice. See, now the Shishigumi are all like Legoshi. Oh, just like what Pina said. They're all ugly. Oh, Rui and Juno. Wait, could that be a love triangle between? You know what we need? We just need a throuple, okay? Legoshi x Rui x Haru. What's the problem with that? Everyone's happy. What already? Bro, look at how his cigarette fell out just for tonight. Oh. This is a bit sudden, but I do get it. Oh. Oh. Yeah, can't the Shishigumi just go help with the whole Riz thing? You know? Oh, see, he's deciding to help him instead. Well, that's nice. Right? You know? Oh, dear. So, Pina's okay, right? No! Is Pina really dead? No! He must have... not good. Oh no, Ibuki! No! Why? Why, Ibuki? Did he have to shoot him? Oh no! Well, that's not good. All right, everybody, let us get into the review, which could be better known as Legoshi on Drugs. Legoshi's Drug Trip, brought to you by Calxiyn. Okay, and so let's talk about this episode, because this episode was like whack, like on so many levels, but I loved it. Like, it's a good thing, you know, like the whackness of it all. But like this episode, like went to places I had no idea that we were going, right? So, now we have Legoshi. He's basically gathering some bugs in the woods, because this is what I've been saying the whole goddamn time. Like, I don't know if you guys have been following my other reviews, but I've been like, Legoshi, why can't you just eat a bug? You know what I mean? Because somebody in the group, like somebody in the drama club said that they ate like, you know, bee larvae yesterday or something like that. And they were like, oh, that's doping, right? So it was kind of always implied that that was a way to get like, you know, kind of meat without it being like socially unacceptable. See, now this was not necessary. Like, I get the whole like sanctity of life thing. I think that that was more, you know, part of the monk Legoshi training type thing, but y'all didn't need to do all that, right? Y'all did not need to eat it live, you know what I mean? You did not need to do that. Gohan says, no, I haven't. Pandas are not interested in protein, right? The truer to nature the insects look, the less appealing they are to people. So that's basically Gohan saying, like, listen, okay? Like, when they're raw like this, nobody wants to eat them because they're true to nature, right? But if you, like, you know, cooked it and threw some, like, barbecue sauce on it, like, people would be a bit more, like, willing to do it, right? To kind of hide the fact that it's wrong, people only eat them when they are, like, you know, when they're basically, like, reduced to just being food. No one wants to eat them while feeling guilty, right? And so it's like, you know, you further remove them, like, away from nature in order so you do not, like, feel bad, basically. That's what Gohan is saying. So, like, regular people, you know, again, probably throw them in the oven, put on some barbecue sauce. Like, after that, they are, like, unrecognizable. Would this world even have barbecue sauce? Do you put barbecue sauce on stuff that's not meat? No, I'm sure that you would for like tofu and stuff. I think that people use barbecue sauce on tofu. Anyway, that's like a whole like different question. But regardless, you understand what I'm saying? So like, you know, the further it looks not like an animal, the more people feel like unguilty or that it's socially acceptable to eat. And I actually do find that interesting because I think that's also true for people as well. You know, like for us eating meat in our real world, I wonder if anybody has become like a vegan or a vegetarian, specifically like because of Beastars and like the message that Beastars is sending, right? And obviously, again, their world is different. There's consciousness, right? Like of the animals, right? And all of that sort of stuff, or like free will, not free will per se, but yeah, I guess you could say that, right? There is intellect, there is intelligent thought and stuff like that. So like their world's a little bit different than ours, you know what I mean? I don't feel too bad about eating a chicken, I'll just be honest with you. You know what I mean? I don't like chicken actually, so that's something else. But you know what I mean? Like there are animals, I guess, that we definitely like socially feel bad eating, but I wonder if after like stuff like this, or themes like this, some people have been converted, because I've definitely thought about it, you know, especially after watching shows like these. It's just like I'm, you know, in, I guess, a situation where I am cooked for, you know what I mean? And so I just eat what I am provided. But yeah, like, you know, a meatball doesn't necessarily like instinctively remind you of like a cow or something. Like when something is turned into like a meatball, right, or a hamburger, like that is by the time you get it, I guess, it's so far removed from the animal that you almost like are able to forget that it came from a living thing. And so I think that that applies to us as well. Like if the meat that we ate looked like, I mean, some people eat stuff like the stuff that's still in the shell and things like that, or like fish that still are in their fish form, I don't know, but like I can't do any of that stuff. So I think that that's really true. You know what I mean? Like stuff like lobster or something that's like still in, like, you know, you go to the store and you get like one of those lobsters from the tank. I don't think people eat it like that, but you know what I mean? Like that definitely, that's a barrier for sure. Especially for a lot of people. And so I think that that's like a very interesting commentary, right? We're so arrogant, aren't we? They're trying so hard to live. Why do I think it's okay to eat them just because they're insects? See? And see, that's something interesting too, because like when you put it that way, do we not think the same way of like cows and stuff, right? Just because this cow doesn't have like intelligence or like consciousness or, you know, like the same, I guess, qualities that humans have. Like, why is it okay to like eat a cow, right? Or whatever the case. And so I feel like that, if I lived alone, I would probably be like vegetarian or something, to be perfectly honest. Just because I feel like that these sorts of messages, I don't know, I think that it makes a lot of like Legoshi's logic makes sense. At the same time, though, you also have to think about like the whole circle of life thing that we've been talking about. Like, yes, to an extent, obviously, like, oh, you know, like how, oh, why did we go all the way back here? To an extent, right? Like, Legoshi's right. Like, we're so arrogant. We think it's okay to eat them just because they're insects and stuff. But at the same time, like, do plants not have life? Like, everything on the planet has life. And so if it's like, oh, well, you know, plants are okay to eat, but not animals, because animals have like a higher, I don't know, not intelligence, but like a higher, yeah, but I guess, you know, a higher complexity, then it's like, okay, but plants are still alive and they have, you know, their own complexity too, right? And so I think that that's just a very interesting debate. Like, how far down do we go? I think that like the biggest point for me, like for stuff like veganism, isn't necessarily like, oh, well, you know, animals are also, you know, also have complex system, I guess, and so we should refrain from eating them. Like, not even necessarily that, but more so like the effect that animal farms like have on the planet, like more so like that type of thing. Like, I think that that's the reason, like, for the environmental reasons of it. But if we get into the argument of, well, we shouldn't eat this because this thing has, like, life and thoughts, it's like, okay, well, why are the plants okay? Because plants still have life, right? And so you could kind of, like, go that route all the way down and then arrive at, well, I will continue to eat everything then, but just appreciate, like, its life more, right? Like, not to waste food and stuff. I guess, like, I don't know, it's very interesting. I guess I shouldn't stick on this too long, but I guess I'm, like, of one and two minds. Like, I would go, like, vegan or vegetarian, like, for the environmental aspect, like, to save the planet, you know what I mean? That sort of thing, because of, like, the emissions that, like, meat production and stuff, like, cause and everything like that. On the other hand, though, I think that I subscribe more to, like, the belief that a lot of, like, indigenous groups have, which is, like, if you're going to, like, eat an animal or kill an animal or kill anything, make sure to use, like, every part of it, right? Like, that's something that I think that I gravitate more towards and that I personally believe. And I think that that is ultimately where the show may go. Like, I'm not sure, like, Legoshi may never eat meat, like, who knows, right? But I could kind of see Legoshi finding out in the end, like, everything has come full circle, because he does say at the end of this that he won't eat, like, the bugs again. But I think that the bugs made a good point, like, you know, like, you already ate me, so are you gonna let my life, like, be in vain? Like, I'm a part of you now, right? By using every part of the animal, that animal is, like, you know, kind of like part of you, right? And you have appreciated the sanctity of its life by making sure that nothing went to waste in its death. You know what I mean? And so that's more what I believe, right? And if we're going to do that, that we should make sure that we, again, don't waste food, or like use the parts that we can for, you know, clothes and stuff like that, medicine, you know, whatever, it depends on the animal, right? But yeah, I think that that would be an interesting route for Legoshi to find out, like, after all this, because some people would probably say, oh, but he just ended up eating meat anyway, like, you know, like, some people I think would complain about that, but I sort of see it as, like, Legoshi went full circle and understood that, like, this is the circle of life, you know what I mean? You can't just eat, like, you can't just eat plants, you know what I mean? You could, but, like, the plants also have life, like, everything, I guess, here's my, like, soapbox, everything on Earth is trying to live, right? Like, even things that don't have, like, complex systems, if you want to call it that. By complex systems, I'm talking about, like, you know, like, we don't think that plants are intelligent, but they are. Like, plants do have complex systems, though. That's the crazy thing. But anyway, that's, like, a whole other topic, right? But what I mean is, like, when we think of, like, humans, we're like, oh, we have free will, we have consciousness, we have, like, thought, you know, and stuff like that. And that, like, everything else, it's like, okay, well, we're, you know, we have this, plants don't have this, animals don't have this, right? And so I think that that's what they're getting at with the bugs. Like, the bugs don't have consciousness or desires or anything. Like, they just operate, I guess, off of, like, instinct, right? But I feel like that the full circle moment for Legoshi could be realizing that everything on Earth is struggling to live, like, even plants. And so if you can't avoid, right, if you can't avoid it, you should just appreciate, like, the life, I guess. Especially because, like, with the whole hospital and funeral home thing, I do think it's, like, you know, that meat is now in the ground, right? And that meat is going to decompose and like help the soil and grow plants, which will be, you know, like such and such and such and such, right? Like it just keeps going when you think about it, right? Like the meat that Legoshi buried earlier, right, will decompose and then will help to grow plants. And so how is that much different from Legoshi eating the meat and then that being used to grow his muscles, right? Because like wherever we die, whether it's going into like, oh, you know, say again, like the herbivore, like say like this herbivore died, whether it's going to the black market or it's going to be like buried and then decompose and then like a tree will grow, right? Like that is still helping life grow somewhere. And so I think that maybe like Legoshi's, you know, full circle moment will be realizing that like it is all like where we came from, I guess we will go back to, right? And so if that same herbivore is going to be used to grow a tree, that's not that different from him eating it to like grow his muscles. You know, I don't know. It's all a very interesting conversation. I don't know if I'm making any sense, I guess. It's just kind of like what I talked about earlier. Like, you know, if I'm going to be buried or something, like I would want to be buried like to turn into a tree, to turn into a tree. I would want to be buried like in the ground in one of those like tree programs and like turn into a tree. You know what I mean? Because at least like that would help give life to something else. And so I feel like that like with the hospital and funeral like herbivores, like the herbivores that have passed naturally, like I feel like that like it kind of makes sense. I don't know, like I feel like that it kind of makes sense to just say, well, you know, they died naturally. Now I can appreciate like their life by helping me grow stronger to protect like herbivores that are still alive. I don't know. Lots of interesting philosophical debate though. And so like Gohan's just like, you've always been arrogant, okay? Like, you know, you force your sense of justice on all those around you. You've been, you know, chasing Haru's ass, right? Like, you've always been arrogant, but that's okay. Your fighting spirit as a carnivore grows only for someone else. See, and so that's what I'm saying too. It's not like he would be eating meat for his own satisfaction or his own desire. He would be eating it for the sake of like other people and someone else. And so I feel like that's an unselfish way, right? Again, it's, you know, I guess death being used in order to I guess like help other people live in like the ways that I talked about earlier, right? Like you kill the cow and then you eat the meat and then you use the bones for something and then you use like this part of the cow for something else and such and like it goes, you know, it continues like that or whatever. You know, you use the hide of the cow to make this and that. And so I feel like that like Legoshi could have that same mentality, right? Like it's not for his own desires, he's doing it to protect other people. And so the meat will go to his muscles will grow strong, and then that'll be used to protect the herbivores. I don't know. I'm just saying that that's been what I've been thinking about, I guess. Anyway, so he eats the thing, right? Tell me the meaning of taking your life, right? And so I feel like that this was actually like good for Legoshi, this weird like drug trip situation, and this scene was beautiful. Like this was crazy. I smell grass and soil, the smell of the wind, right? Like look at this. This looks like no joke. This cloud format reminds me this cloud form reminds me of like the clouds in like Your Name or something for some reason. I just watched that a couple weeks ago. It's actually up on the Patreon. I don't know if I'm gonna do like a video essay on it or something, like giving my thoughts on it, because obviously like usually I do like my reaction highlights and a review, but like right now all I have is the reaction portion right now until I decide what I want to do with it. Anyway, totally unrelated, has nothing to do with this. And so yes. Anyway, so he almost goes to throw up and the moth is just like, excuse me, like you killed me and now you're gonna throw me up. And so that's what I mean, right? Like if he threw up the moth, the life would be in vain. But if the life is used to protect others, like then, like that would like, you know, that would be okay in a sense, right? And so then he says, I'm so sorry, I think I disparaged you. I discriminated against a life just because I wanted to be stronger, right? And so basically what he's saying is that he discriminated against the bugs just because you know, they don't have the same level of, I guess, intelligence or whatever. Like, whatever they basically consider as like, to differentiate them from the bugs, I guess. Like, humans differentiate themselves from animals because we have, again, like, conscious thought or a bunch of other things, right? Like, I don't really know like every intricacy of that argument, but if I was just like, what's the difference between me and like, I don't know, in a chicken, I would be like, well, I have dreams, I have desires, you know, I don't know, I guess chickens do feel emotions, but I feel emotions not because of instinct, I don't know. And so yeah, it's a very interesting, again, very interesting conversation. And so then the moth says, disparage, discriminate, forgiveness, those words mean nothing to insects, right? Because like insects don't have words. You know what I mean? Insects don't know words. They aren't going to, like, you know what I mean? They aren't going to, not that they aren't gonna care, but you know what I mean? They say we have no desires like you do, right? And so like we can't, you know, I don't know, I can't even explain it. It's like they don't even think at all, right? And so they can't, like, you know, think about how he's disparaged against them because they can't process. Anyway, it's just so weird. Anyway, one thing is important, and that is the respect for life, right? And so that's what I'm saying. Eating means understanding, respecting, and receiving one and only soul, right? And so I feel bad for Legoshi that he's like crying here, but see what the moth is saying though, doesn't that fit in with what I'm trying to say though? Like you can eat the bugs, you can eat meat, as long as like you understand what it means to be able to do that, right? And like you respect it, you know? I don't know. But yeah. We don't shed tears, right? And so that's what he's saying. Like, are you in tears? We don't shed tears either. Like, moths don't cry, right? They don't have that capability. And so Legoshi says, I wish I had been born an insect, right? And so he's basically saying, I wish that I had no desires or no dreams. Like, I could just, you know, exist. Because I was born as a wolf, it's so hard to live with all these worldly thoughts, right? And so, yes, I guess that's the difference, is worldly thoughts, you know what I mean? Being an insect is also quite tough. You're right, I'm sorry. I had a good time with you. A strong creature, it's time to say goodbye, right? So basically then it goes to say, live earnestly, taking me in your bones and blood. See, so that was kind of like a ceremony, right? It was like, you know, like I'm a part of you now, like I still live on in you, in your bones and blood type of thing, right? And so, you know, wouldn't that do right by the herbivores if he ate, again, like the herbivores that died of natural causes in order to protect herbivores from dying from unnatural causes? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just saying. And so Legoshi's like, nope, not again, right? And so I think that that's a little odd, right? You know, that he's just like, nope. Like, after all that the moth said to him, like, he's still refusing. Anyway, so now we have regular Legoshi back, so that's great. That made me really happy. I don't know how his fur all grew back overnight, but, you know, maybe this was over a couple days. Like, I don't know, like it literally just like grew back like in a couple hours. I like this debated because Gohan pulls out like the sickle as if he's gonna like cut Legoshi's hair again, but then it doesn't happen. Anyway, meanwhile, Riz is like recovering his taste buds, I guess, and I wonder what the metaphor is there, because it said like, oh, well, the price to pay for eating Tem was losing my sense of taste. So like, I wonder, like, what is the metaphor supposed to be? Because he hasn't gotten redemption, so it's not that he's gotten his taste back because he's redeemed himself. So I have no idea. Maybe it's like that he is, I don't want to say getting over it, but like he is getting over his guilt, and so that's why he possibly kills again later in this episode. I don't think he killed Pina, by the way. I'm just gonna put that out there. I don't think that he did it, but we'll talk about that when we get there. And so maybe that's it. It's like that Riz doesn't feel guilty anymore about eating Tem, and so that's why he's getting his sense of taste back. Maybe that's like the whole thing. And so it's not that Riz has been redeemed. In fact, it's the quite opposite. Like Riz sees himself as irredeemable, therefore he's getting his taste back because he no longer feels guilty or bad about what he did. And so you see the bears, right? They're just like, oh, you know, he's gotten bigger since last week. Like, that's not good. Are you sure he's taking his medicine? Oh, maybe it's just a growth spurt, right? Like, they all like see it and like, look at Riz right here. And so I feel like that this is like, again, like, not in, what is it called? From the frying pan into the fryer? Like, there's some sort of like metaphor. I don't know what it is, but anyway, I just feel like that that's kind of a representation of like him now. He has fully embraced the flames. And so yeah, then he has some like tomato stuff on him, and he's like, I'll be ready to face you as the beast that I really am. And so again, that's why I feel like he's getting his taste back, because he no longer feels bad about like being a beast anymore, basically. And so then we see Louis and Ibuki at the bar, right? And so they're basically just talking like, oh, you know, like, which of our heads do you think is worth stuffing, right? So they're basically talking about like, hey, if, you know, if another group got a trophy, do you think they'd want our head or do you think they'd want yours? And he's basically like, my head's kind of small for that. I'm not joking. What if a group that feels threatened by us comes for your head? Then you should be killed instead, Ibuki, right? And so I love how Rui says that, it's like, oh, won't you sacrifice your life for the boss? You know, if I die, rumors will spread that my subordinates ate me, right? And so that's basically what he's saying. He's like, well, I can't die, so, you know, for the good of the Shishigumi, you gotta die, right? And so he doesn't seem to be sad about that, but I feel like that this is like, hey, Ibuki, don't think about things like that, okay? We're riding a good wave. Like, why do you have to bring up the idea that I'm gonna die or something, bro? You know what I mean? Of course, I will gladly give myself up for you, boss. Right, so that's the interesting thing. Anyway, I love this design of this little owl guy. Like, look at how cute he is, right? Like, he's just so, I love his design. He's so cute. I'm glad to, like, see an owl. Oh, and it's like a night owl, because the bar is, like, at night. Oh, my God. Oh, guys, I just blew my own mind. Look at this. And so Rui's like, no, I don't want a whiskey. Then please give him a sweet cocktail, right? And so I feel like that the whole like cocktail thing, like a lot of people consider that like a girly drink, right? So now Rui's like, don't be stupid. I'll have wine like a man. You know, that's kind of how, or I guess in English they say wine, I guess, just because like they didn't want to, I don't know. Like I think most people know what sake is at this point. So I don't know why they did that. In English, I don't know if wine and sake are the same thing, by the way. Maybe they are, and so it's interchangeable, but in English they said wine, I guess, for like ease of translation, right? Obviously, part of translation is localization, so taking something like sake and then making it wine for the localized American audience and stuff like that. But anyway, he's like, no, I'll have a sake. I'll have something dignified, like a plum sake or wine, right? And so yeah, I kind of like that. And I love, look at his little face! Oh my God, this night owl, so cute, so cute. Oh, I think that that's really cute. I knew he was a light drinker. Finally, he's opening up to me, right? And I feel like something's weird with Ibuki, especially by the end of this episode, but we'll get to that. So I love this scene with Legoshi, because Rui's like, who's she, right? And then he turns around and he's just like, this is so funny because I kind of like vaguely heard about like, I heard something about drag queens when this season first started, right? I don't remember what it was exactly, but I think at the very beginning of my reaction, I said, the only thing I know about this season is that there's a strip club and there are some drag queens. And I thought the drag queens were at the strip club, but it seems like that this is maybe what I got confused about, right? And so I love this scene. This scene was like peak comedy. I love how they, I don't know, like lighten the mood, I guess, after all this time, especially because we just had Riz being like, I'm gonna go kill Legoshi, right? Like we had that sort of thing. Before explaining them to you, I am Legoshi, right? Like just in case you didn't realize, Rui, I'm Legoshi, okay? And I think that the English dub did a really good job because there's a lot of like lightheartedness in terms of Legoshi putting on kind of like a girly voice, and I thought that that was like really, really really funny, and something that didn't translate, at least to me, through the Japanese. I don't know, maybe they did it in both, but I think that the English voice actor did a really good job, and so I love this. Look at this. Rui's just fucking pissed, and I love it. Anyway. So then Ibuki comes back and he's like, you know, the boss is being targeted, right? And then they're all sort of thinking to themselves, I can sense Rui is angry. Why is he here? What's that stupid outfit for? I just love Rui's angry face. He's so mad. I love it, right? And then it's like, should I hurt you, you stupid face, right? And then, well, the boss is 18 and male. Like, I don't want to butt in, you know? But I love this, but she's rather ugly, you know? And so Ibuki's just like, should I go warn him about, or not even warn him, but like, should I do something about like Rui getting with this ugly girl? Like, he can do better. Like, should I feel like that Ibuki has been kind of like a father figure up until this point, until the end of the episode anyway. But I find that kind of interesting just because it's like, did I not teach him about like how to pick the ladies like as his surrogate dad today? You know, that's sort of what I've been thinking, right? Anyway, he isn't picky about women at all. That's our boss. And so he just sees Rui as like, you know, like Rui can get a quick fuck, I guess, out of anybody. Rui's like a little bit of a fuck boy, and you can see like, I love this in the English because it was like, Rui, I'm so happy, right? And it was was like Legoshi's voice actor doing that, and like Rui was just like, ah, shut the fuck up, right? Oh, did I say Rui's? Legoshi's voice actor. Anyway, you know what I mean. But yes, so then they talk about like the serious part, like Riz and everything like that. It was Riz, I see, right? He's been enjoying school life casually with a mascot-like face, exactly. So, you know, like he's, you know, put this poker face of kindness. That's why I'll duel him. This felt like very randomly Hamilton. Like, I very much doubt it, because again, right? This show is like Japanese, obviously. I doubt like they were like, you know what would be good? Taking some inspiration from Alexander Hamilton. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. But like that's the first thing I thought of with dueling, especially. You know, like especially asking Rui to be there. It was like, you know, my friend, that's your second, your lieutenant. When there's reckoning to be reckoned. Anyway, so yeah, that is my Hamilton impression. Thank you and good night. And so yes, so Rui says, why? Just take him to the police, right? And so Legoshi has a different attitude, right? Like this fight is between him and me, and he also seems, I think he does want to rehabilitate Riz like Gohan had been teaching him, right? So this is like him asking Rui to be his second, right? And I love how like Rui has to drink and then be like, it doesn't matter to me how you live, so stay out of my life, right? But then he grabs him and he starts laughing, right? Because he's like, no, Rui, like, this is serious. You know, I won't ask you to make an honest living anymore. So he's basically saying, I won't ask you to leave the Shishigumi. I just want you to see how I live because I respect you. So it's like, I want you to be there. I want you to be there when I possibly die. I am who I am because of you. And that's true because Rui's the one who was like, you know, getting him out of his shell. Why are you like hunched over all the time? Like stand up straight as a carnivore, right? Like he had, you know, that sort of conversation with him all the way back in season 1. So he really led him on this path. And so this is when like, at first like Rui was annoyed, but then he starts like laughing because he can't take this seriously. Because Legoshi's like, this is my last day. I want you to be here for me. And then Rui just like, he bursts out laughing. Your face is killing me. Like, how can I take you seriously when you're like this, right? You smiled, didn't you? It couldn't be helped, right? He can't help but laugh, right? And so then Rui seems to be thinking about it now. So he basically gives him the location, right, of where they'll be. I'll be waiting for you, right? And so in English, right, again, the English actor did a very like haughty, like, you know, I'll be waiting for you, like, kind of voice, right? Like, something like that. And so I really liked that. It was like, I'll be waiting. And then, like, he just, like, rushed out the door. Like, I thought that was so funny. And Rui's like, I will be there, damn. Boss, where has the big female gone? And then he says, I dumped her, I think. I think I may have missed that one. But anyway, and so it's like, oh, yeah, that's, like, I think that was the right thing to do. So even Ibuki's like, good choice, Rui, good choice. You do know how to pick them, you know? No way I'll be there, you idiot, right? Anyway, now it's New Year's Eve, right? I knew you by your smell, Pina. So this is when we're like, oh, is Pina dead? You're having a duel tonight, yes. Will you come and support me? No. Then what's your business? I may not get to see you anymore if you lose to Legoshi, so I'm here to ask you something. So here's the thing, like, Pina thought he was being all slick. He really wasn't. Like, I know now, like, he's leading him into the light to basically like catch him under the security camera, but I feel like that it's interesting too, like the metaphor of it, like they were both in the darkness. He tries to bring Riz into the light, but like Riz knows better, and into the light could be like to actually like confess and be honest and truthful and stuff, but Riz is like, nope, like and you know, stays in the darkness, right? And so then he says like, I want to know, right? Like, you know, I want to know, maybe for my own safety, like, were you thinking of eating him since a long time, or did you eat him on impulse, right? Well, let me think. And so you actually see Riz looks up and sees the camera, and it's like, oh, Pina, you're not slick. Like, why couldn't Pina just make a voice recording on his phone? You know what I mean? Like, why did he need a camera? Like, I get it. Like, that may not be, you know, as, like, admissible or, like, proof for the police or something. But, like, Riz's voice, I would assume, is very distinct, right? And so I think that that could be submitted as evidence, you know? Like, you could, if you got Riz to confirm his identity as Riz, like, you didn't need to do this. And so that's what I feel like is kind of dumb about this, is all the characters in this world have smartphones, but for some reason, they don't just think to press, like, the voice recording app and stick that shit in their pocket. You know what I mean? Like, they always gotta do something like this. And so I feel like that's a little contrived, you know, for the sake of the plot. Like, some people may argue, oh, well, you know, he needed, like, video evidence of Riz, like, he couldn't have just, like, recorded it on his phone because it would have just been his voice and everything. But I feel like that that's, I don't know, I feel like that that's kind of dumb. That's been dumb the entire time, is that Legoshi, like, Riz has confessed to doing it, like, 3 times in front of people, and nobody's just recorded his confession on their phone. You know? you really meant those words, didn't you? And so, yeah, I don't know if he killed him, though. I don't think that he killed them. It is implied, right? Oh, you really meant, like, the words, like, oh, kill me if you want, right? But I feel like that if he did, this kind of takes Riz from a, you know, like, somebody that is ill, right? In the way that Gohan rehabilitates people and treats patients, to someone who is a psychopath, right? Because that's, I don't know, like, that's just sort of my opinion, I guess, because, like, before you could have sympathy for Riz, like, that he seemed to be, like, suffering, that the first incident with Tem could have just been his instincts, right? Like, he grabbed him too hard because of his strength, he smelled the blood, Tem running away triggered his, like, animal instincts, and it couldn't be helped almost, it couldn't be stopped, if that makes sense, right? But now, this is like a intentional killing if it's true, but I don't think that he actually ate Pina. I think that, like, this is a no body, no death situation. Like, we did not see, like, Pina get eaten, and so I don't think that he did. I think that he could have, like, made Pina bleed a little bit, you know, just for the fight, but I don't think that he would have done that. But if he did, I think that that actually gives more reason for Legoshi to kill him instead of rehabilitating. And so I think that that could be a pretty badass final scene if he just decides to kill Riz, because he's beyond rehabilitation, despite everything. And that could fit in with some of the themes of the season as well, because yes, like, it is good, you know, to give people the benefit of the doubt and to try to come to an understanding, but I think that Riz, like, sometimes, you know, it's kind of like a no good deed goes unpunished thing. It's like, not all evil will be punished in the world type of situation, and I feel like that could be true with Riz, is that you can't save everyone. You can't rehabilitate people that don't want to be rehabilitated. And, like, that was even said before, right? Like, Gohan says, like, a carnivore can be rehabilitated if they want to, but if Riz doesn't want to, I don't know, Legoshi could kill him. I don't know how that would affect Legoshi's character, though. I don't know if that would be a good choice, you know, like, from a writing standpoint, but I could understand it. Like, I could understand what they're going for, I guess, is that, you know, it's kind of not bleak per se, but, like, in changing the world, there are also people that will not change. Anyway, so they talk about the scar, like, oh yes, it represents, like, the turning point in your life, right? Win or lose, your life will be dramatically changed after this battle. And I'm like, but Gohan, if he loses, he'd be dead, right? Both life and death are harsh either way. Oh, so I see what he means. He's basically saying, like, if you win, your life will be changed forever, especially since it seems like you're fighting to the death. You'll have to, like, live with that guilt if you have to kill him and can't, you know, bring him here to be rehabilitated. If you die, that's its own harshness, right? And so then he says, you are the one and only carnivore who has come to understand the pain of both carnivores and herbivores and have become stronger that way. And see, I think if that's true, Legoshi should be the Beastar. You know what I mean? I wonder if the principal ever came back or not, you know, because it has been a couple weeks. I'm sure that he has, right? So I think that, like, the good ending would be Legoshi beats Riz, Gohan rehabilitates him, and because of that or something, I don't know, because of a little something, I guess, because of those actions, everybody knows that Legoshi caught Tem's killer, and, like, that's that on that. You know what I mean? But it could be possible that if Riz is rehabilitated, right, like, they may never catch Tem's killer, and then, like, Legoshi won't be the Beastar, even though he did save him. And so that could be kind of a metaphor for the, yes, like, Legoshi did a good deed, he found the killer, but that will not be rewarded, you know, because the world cannot know that Riz is the killer, or they will want to lock him up. I feel like that, like, for a third angle, though, right, he could see that Riz is unredeemable, basically take him down and then call the police like Rui had always suggested. Or Rui will call the police and be like, bro, like, this battle to the death thing, that was mad dumb. You know what I mean? He's already eaten 2 people, Tem and Pina. I don't think Pina is dead, but I don't know. He could be dead. He could be dead. Anyway. So yes, then we get on the train and we have some, like, fun little designs here. We have, I think that this may be like an antelope or something, I'm not sure. But anyway, I really liked, like, that design. I'm not sure what they are, maybe a cat or something. But yeah, I just liked seeing, like, you know, people around. This girl has a really nice design, people around on the train. I always spent New Year's Eve with Jack, right? And so then he thinks of Jack. Jack might be sad, he might be sad if Legoshi dies. Not he will be sad, he might be sad, right? Or he might cry for me. Also, those guys in the room, right? So in his dorm, the members of the drama club. And to this, I'm like, bro, I really thought Bill still was gonna come in clutch and be involved in this somehow. How wrong I was, how sad I am. I've come to like a lot of people in the past year, right? And so it's like he has so many friends, right? And it's kind of sad too, because I think that New Year's is an important day for like couples and stuff in Japan as well, and now like he's not with Haru. I don't want to imagine Haru being sad, so he has to win, right? If I don't die tonight, I'd like to hear your voice, right? And so that's interesting, because I would think it's the opposite. Like, I want to make sure I hear your voice before I die, but maybe it's like, you know, I need to be motivated not to die, so I cannot hear your voice until after I win type of thing. Like, you could say that maybe. Anyway, it's a full moon, right? Does that mean good luck or bad? Of course it means good. So they've killed some people, who knows? They've killed another gang, maybe. That's why they were talking about that, maybe in the bar. That was like their, I don't know, how do you say it? Like their liquor of courage, I guess, right? Like they were drinking before this big fight that they knew, and it was like, hey, if you're killed, do you think they'll take your head or mine? Like they knew that they were gonna fight with this other gang, but Rui did get a little scratch. And I think that's funny, because they were just talking about like how scratches are a representation of strength, and fights that a carnivore or herbivore have, or I guess carnivore, right? Gohan only said carnivore have won, but yet like Rui has those same battle scars because he is kind of living as a carnivore, even though he is a herbivore, right? And so he's like, oh, what a stupid boy, right? And so he's basically like, oh, you know, like, don't apologize for me getting scratched, like, fuck off with that, right? That's basically what he's saying, right? And so then he says, the Shishigumi have changed. Carnivores can be strong if they have something to protect. None of us knew that, right? Because they have a strong body, they're tolerant and considerate. They're hungry for meat, so they always have a pained expression. I love carnivores. And see, I think that this is what makes Rui realize he has to go to Legoshi, right? Because it's only through the Shishigumi that he realized how much Legoshi meant to him. And so then he says, why am I realizing this now? Could it be because he, that idiot, has been in my heart since a long time, right? And I don't know if this is supposed to be like romantic, but if it is, okay, we can have a polycule. It can be Haru x Rui x Legoshi. Nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? I'd endorse that. I have never seen a show with any like polyamory at all, like where people are in a monogamous but three-way relationship. Does that make sense? Like monogamy with multiple characters, and it's treated as like normal and stuff. So if the show goes that direction, I'm all for that, you know? And so anyway, or even just like Rui's not with Haru anymore, but Legoshi is both with Rui and Haru, you know? And so anyway, Ibuki, I'm leaving, right? And so Ibuki's like, what the fuck? Like his cigarette falls out, leaving us. What's wrong, boss? And so I feel like that this is basically why the scene in the car happens later. Because I think that, again, I can't say for sure, but there was a time when Gohan said something to the effect of like, you think it's love, but it's just like, you know, your instinct wanting to like keep her with you forever or something like that. Like Gohan basically talked about that a lot of carnivores who fall in love with herbivores end up eating their partners because they want them to be with them forever. You know, they want them to be a part of them. Like sort of, I guess, like how the moth said like, hey, when I die, I'm gonna be a part of your like bone and muscle, I guess, right? So I think that why Ibuki has this thing is because we've seen him like caring about Rui more and more, right? The past couple episodes, like we have seen that, and he even tells like the other guy like, hey, I think it's Free. He tells Free like, hey, you know, if I ever attack the boss, shoot me. Like it's almost like he knows that he's caring about him so much that his instinct may go out of control. And so I think that what happens in the car is that he realizes that he cannot let Rui leave. Like he needs Rui to be a part of him because Rui has changed his life for the better, and without Rui, things may get worse, and so it's better to keep Rui a part of him forever. Like again, that fucked up instinct thing. So I think that there are a couple possibilities. Like first of all, Ibuki could have just shot himself because he knew that he was gonna eat Rui and he didn't want to turn into that. So that could have been one. Two is Ibuki did lunge at him, but then Rui killed him, right? Like Rui had to kill him. I feel like that those could be the two options. Or three, this is a red herring in general and Ibuki's not gonna eat anyone. Because I do feel like that it'd be kind of like steps going backward if like if Ibuki started to care about Rui and then like wanted to eat him and stuff. Like I feel like it would be going backwards because it would show like, oh, again, like carnivores can't have these, you know, relationships with herbivores or else they'll eat them. Like it would just be like another Riz basically. And so I feel like it would be better if he either stopped himself because that would at least be like that he's conscious of his own behavior and like put a stop to it before like he could like hurt Rui, you know what I mean? Or like it's a red herring. I don't really want him to eat Rui. I feel like that wouldn't help the plot line. And so then he says, my loved one may die. So again, and you see like the panic in Rui's face, like he didn't realize how much he loved Legoshi until now. But you don't need to leave us, I have to. I can't be there for him if I stay in the black market. So his mentality is like, how can I even face Legoshi if I stay here? Is he more important than the Shishigumi? I can't compare the two, but I have to go because he's trying to confront what I escaped from. And I feel like that's great because that's the metaphor I've been talking about for this entire season, right? Is that Legoshi stepped into the light, he found Tem's killer, whereas Rui ran away from all of that. He ran away from school. He ran away from finding out who killed Tem. He is too dazzling for me, right? And so again, he was like, good luck struggling in that faint light, but he realized that Legoshi actually shined in that light and he is too dazzling for Rui, right? And you actually see Ibuki, right? He like, stands up straight. Are you going to come back after helping your friend on a whim? Do you understand what you're saying? Yes, I do. And so then we see how he like towers over him, right? Because Ibuki had been hunching this entire time. And I like what they said in English, because Rui said something, thank you for always like hunching forward so we could always see eye to eye, right? And so this is almost like a representation that they no longer see eye to eye anymore. And so yeah, I don't understand though, like why Rui couldn't just leave and then come back like on a functional level. You know what I mean? Like he couldn't just like go for the night, talk to Legoshi, and then come back. I understand why like Rui's basically saying, no, I can't come back or I won't be able to face him, right? I understand that, but I don't understand why the Shishigumi would have a problem with it if Rui wasn't going to leave, but just like left for the night, I guess I should say. So yeah, that's the only thing I'm like, would they care if he just like, you know, went to go help his friend and then came back? Like the only reason why Ibuki seems to care is because there's the possibility that he may not. Anyway, they go for the drive, and then we also see like Riz and Legoshi get together as well. And so he's like, oh, you know, sorry I'm late. Like Legoshi's still polite at a time like this, right? Rui isn't here yet, so shall we start? I prepared the starting gong. So at first I thought that was the train, but then he says there's no point if you don't notice it. Because you're usually tame, I thought I had to turn your anger on if I wanted to have a serious fight. And then Legoshi realizes what happened, right? I'm so full after eating a whole thin-horned sheep by myself, right? And so see, that's the other thing, is like, if Riz was willing to do this, I'm surprised that Legoshi didn't try to like protect Haru a bit better, you know, especially because like it was a possibility that Riz could have like used Haru to threaten Legoshi like this entire time. Like they all knew about that, right? So I'm really surprised that like Riz didn't go that route as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like he could have threatened Haru a long time ago to get Legoshi to back down, but instead he went for Pina. And so see, he does have blood all over him, but I don't believe it. I don't think that he killed Pina. I think that it's no body, no death. I think he just made Pina, I don't know, he bled a little or something, right? And that was that on that. But we do see Legoshi, his demeanor kind of like change here, right? Because at first he's in shock, but Riz is already in like monster mode. And so, we don't see Legoshi's demeanor change. He's just shocked this entire time. Maybe I missed it. Anyway, I think that it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I don't think he killed Pina. 100% I don't think so. Anyway, they are driving, to be honest. If I threatened him a little, he'd get scared and change his mind, but he didn't even bat an eyelid. So I think basically what he's saying there is like, to be honest, I thought if I threatened him a little, he would change his mind, but he doesn't care at all. So clearly, you know, there is no beast as strong as you, Rui. Like, you are so strong in your conviction, right? I can't think of any other bosses, right? A strong beast. I'm not at all happy to hear that from a lion. Then he says, the strength of a lion is just a weapon. Until I met you, I'd been hurting even myself with that weapon. And so then we see like some backstory, right? And we actually see this, Ibuki seems to be like killing a wolf or something, right? And so then he says that is what happiness for the carnivore is all about. So basically like, you know, be the king of the pride type of thing. I kept acting bigger than who I really was, feeding on the others' fearful stares, right? And so then we get like a very interesting scene here where he basically turns forward, then he turns back, and I wonder if these two people in the frame are gone because he like ate them, but who knows, right? Because he does have gunk on him after that. So I wonder if that implies that like he was like eating herbivores and stuff. Eventually I turned into a huge black mass I couldn't even handle, right? Then you appeared. Your gaze was really something else, right? I was amazed. You've amazed me so many times since. The days with you were the most comfortable in my 35 years of life. right? And so that's what I'm saying. It's that he has been so comfortable with Rui, he doesn't want to let Rui go, because if Rui goes, he will no longer have the happiness. So if he eats Rui, he gets to keep the happiness in theory. But I don't want him to have tried to eat Rui and then Rui had to shoot him. I feel like that would ruin the whole surrogate dad thing that we got going on, you know? Do you call it heterogeneous coexistence? But that kind of life in the sun is not for me. And so then we see again, like, this is usually an indication of like evil anime sunglasses. And then we get the place I belong is as dark as this tunnel. And then he has, there's no guarantee of life here. And we have the shot, right? So the implication of that is like Ibuki tried to eat Rui, therefore the shot. The other implication is, Rui, you made me the most comfortable. If you are leaving, I don't want to live a life without you, so I will kill myself and you can move on and go be with Legoshi, if that makes sense. And maybe the Shishigumi will think that I ate you or something, you know what I mean? Like, maybe they'll think that that's what happened. I don't know. And so I think that those are interesting options. But I guess now that we're getting into like the final episode, what are my theories? I don't think Pina's dead. I don't think that Ibuki would try to eat him, but I think that he could have unalived himself, especially because like he has that like mark on his arm, right? Like there was a point where he was in a dark place at one point in time. So I think he could do that. And it could also be like, you know, you have made me the most comfortable I've ever been in my life, so I can finally die happy. I don't want to go back to the life and being the black mass I used to be before, and I don't think that that can happen unless you're with the Shishigumi. So instead I choose this. It could be that possibility as well. But yes, I'm very intrigued by next episode. Next episode's the finale. I hope that you guys enjoyed my analysis. Thank you for attending Calxiyn's Royal Court today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!